What does it really mean to be a man in today's world? Is it all about being in charge, racking up wealth, or chasing after quick thrills? Or is there something much deeper, something timeless, that nudges us to become more than just our desires? Being a man of character isn't just a choice, it's a responsibility we carry. But what does that actually look like in our everyday lives? For ages, thinkers, warriors, and leaders have pondered this question. They understood that true strength comes not from controlling everything around us, but from mastering the storms within ourselves. A man who can't manage his own thoughts and feelings is at the mercy of whatever life throws his way. As Epictetus wisely said, "No man is free who is not master of himself," and those words feel just as relevant today. Our real challenge isn't out there in the world, it's within us, dealing with the emotions that can trip us up. This life we navigate is neither easy nor comfortable. It is a complex tapestry woven with threads of joy and sorrow, triumph and despair. True character, as history has shown us, is not forged in the tranquil moments of peace and prosperity, but rather in the relentless crucible of suffering and trials. It is during our darkest hours that we are stripped bare, revealing our core essence. As the wise Stoic Emperor Marcus Aurelius profoundly noted, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This insight encapsulates the idea that our greatest obstacles, those formidable challenges that loom large in our lives, often serve as the clearest and most illuminating pathway to self-mastery and personal growth. Embarking on the journey to cultivate an unshakable character is perhaps the highest calling a person can aspire to answer. It requires a deep and honest understanding of oneself. A man of character knows his strengths and weaknesses, his limits, and the vast potential that lies within him. He embraces fortitude in the face of adversity, standing tall and resolute when life's storms threaten to overwhelm him. In moments of trial, he acts with integrity, even when the eyes of the world are turned away, for his moral compass is guided by an inner sense of right and wrong that does not waver. Moreover, a man of character embodies empathy, reaching out with compassion in a world that can often seem cold and indifferent. He recognizes the shared humanity in others, understanding that everyone carries their own burdens and struggles. In doing so, he fosters connections that transcend superficial differences, creating a community built on mutual respect and understanding. Such a man does not bend to the fleeting whims of societal trends or seek validation from the ever-changing tides of public opinion. Instead, he remains steadfast in his values, grounded like a rock amidst crashing waves. His principles serve as his anchor, providing him with the strength to navigate the tumultuous seas of life with grace and dignity. In a world that often values conformity over authenticity, he stands as a beacon of resilience, inspiring others to seek their own paths of self-discovery and personal integrity. Ultimately, the journey of building character is not a destination, but a lifelong endeavor, one that requires constant reflection, adaptation, and growth. It is about embracing the challenges that come our way, learning from them, and emerging stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. In this relentless pursuit, we not only shape our own destinies, but also contribute to the greater tapestry of humanity, leaving a legacy of strength, integrity, and empathy for future generations to admire and follow. This life we navigate is neither easy nor comfortable. It is a complex tapestry woven with threads of joy and sorrow, triumph and despair. True character, as history has shown us, is not forged in the tranquil moments of peace and prosperity, but rather in the relentless crucible of suffering and trials. It is during our darkest hours that we are stripped bare, revealing our core essence. As the wise Stoic Emperor Marcus Aurelius profoundly noted, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This insight encapsulates the idea that our greatest obstacles, those formidable challenges that loom large in our lives, often serve as the clearest and most illuminating pathway to self-mastery and personal growth. Embarking on the journey to cultivate an unshakable character is perhaps the highest calling a person can aspire to answer. It requires a deep and honest understanding of oneself. A man of character knows his strengths and weaknesses, his limits, and the vast potential that lies within him. He embraces fortitude in the face of adversity, standing tall and resolute when life's storms threaten to overwhelm him. In moments of trial, he acts with integrity, even when the eyes of the world are turned away, for his moral compass is guided by an inner sense of right and wrong that does not waver. Moreover, a man of character embodies empathy, reaching out with compassion in a world that can often seem cold and indifferent. He recognizes the shared humanity in others, understanding that everyone carries their own burdens and struggles. In doing so, he fosters connections that transcend superficial differences, creating a community built on mutual respect and understanding. Such a man does not bend to the fleeting whims of societal trends or seek validation from the ever-changing tides of public opinion. Instead, he remains steadfast in his values, grounded like a rock amidst crashing waves. His principles serve as his anchor, providing him with the strength to navigate the tumultuous seas of life with grace and dignity. In a world that often values conformity over authenticity, he stands as a beacon of resilience, inspiring others to seek their own paths of self-discovery and personal integrity. Ultimately, the journey of building character is not a destination, but a lifelong endeavor, one that requires constant reflection, adaptation, and growth. It is about embracing the challenges that come our way, learning from them, and emerging stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. In this relentless pursuit, we not only shape our own destinies, but also contribute to the greater tapestry of humanity, leaving a legacy of strength, integrity, and empathy for future generations to admire and follow. As we tread this path, it is essential to remember that setbacks are not failures, but opportunities for learning and growth. Each stumble teaches us resilience. Each hardship instills a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. We may falter, we may doubt, but it is in these moments of uncertainty that we often find our greatest clarity. The lessons learned from our struggles become the stepping stones upon which we build our character, reinforcing our resolve and guiding our actions. In nurturing our character, we also cultivate a sense of purpose. A life driven by purpose lends meaning to our struggles, transforming them into valuable experiences that shape not only who we are, but also how we impact those around us. The man of character understands that his journey is intertwined with the journeys of others. His actions ripple through the lives of family, friends, and even strangers. Thus, he strives to be a force for good, a source of inspiration, and a pillar of support within his community. As we reflect on our own paths, let us embrace the complexities of life with open hearts and minds. Let us celebrate our victories, learn from our defeats, and approach each day with a commitment to growth and integrity. By doing so, we contribute not only to our own character, but also to a world that desperately needs voices of compassion and strength. In this collective endeavor, we find not only our individual purpose, but also the profound connection that binds us all, a connection rooted in our shared humanity and the timeless pursuit of becoming the best versions of ourselves. Today, we find ourselves in a world where our character is challenged in ways we might not always notice. We're surrounded by distractions, unrealistic standards, and shallow pursuits that can pull us away from what really matters. Society often tells us that being a man means being successful in terms of wealth, status, or looks. It can make us think that strength is all about being aggressive, that showing vulnerability is a sign of weakness, and that chasing after quick thrills is more important than nurturing our souls. Sometimes our emotions, like anger, jealousy, and fear, can cloud our judgment and lead us off track. They can whisper to us, urging us to react instead of taking a moment to reflect, to seek revenge instead of understanding, and to go after power instead of finding peace. Seneca once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." And it's true that we can often be our own worst enemies, letting anxiety and despair take control. The challenge we face isn't just about what's happening around us, it's also about what's going on inside us. It's all about the effort to rise above the very things that can hold us back from within. This internal struggle is where true character is forged. It's not merely about resisting external pressures, but also about cultivating a mindset that allows us to navigate our emotions and reactions with grace and wisdom. We must learn to differentiate between what society says we should be and who we truly are at our core. To embark on this journey of self-discovery, we need to embrace introspection. Taking time to reflect on our values, beliefs, and aspirations is essential. What do we stand for? What brings us joy and fulfillment? These questions can guide us toward a more authentic existence, one that prioritizes growth over comparison and purpose over superficial success. Moreover, vulnerability should be seen as a strength rather than a weakness. It takes immense courage to open up about our struggles, to admit when we're hurting, and to ask for help. By sharing our experiences and feelings, we create connections that can lead to deeper understanding and support. In doing so, we foster a sense of community that allows us to rise together, rather than fall prey to isolation and despair. Embracing emotional intelligence is another crucial aspect of this journey. Understanding our emotions and learning to manage them can empower us to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Instead of letting anger dictate our actions, we can choose to pause, breathe, and consider the consequences of our responses. This practice not only enhances our relationships, but also leads to personal growth, as we learn from our experiences and adapt accordingly. It's also vital to redefine our notions of success. Rather than measuring our worth by our bank accounts or societal status, we should focus on the impact we have on others and the legacy we wish to leave behind. Acts of kindness, moments of compassion, and the ability to inspire others can be far more rewarding than any material possession. In a world that often prioritizes the superficial, we must strive to cultivate depth in our lives. This involves nurturing our passions, pursuing knowledge, and finding joy in the simple things. When we align our daily actions with our core values, we create a life that is not only fulfilling, but also resilient against the distractions and challenges that come our way. Ultimately, the journey to build character in this chaotic world is ongoing. It requires patience, persistence, and a willingness to learn from our missteps. It's about recognizing that we are all works in progress, and that every challenge we face is an opportunity for growth. By committing to this path, we can emerge stronger, more compassionate, and more attuned to what truly matters in life. The question comes up: how can we, as men, build our character in a world that often seems to chip away at it? The answer is pretty straightforward. It's all about nurturing three key virtues: integrity, resilience, and empathy. Let's start with integrity. This is really the bedrock of our character. It's about having the courage to do what's right, even when no one is watching. It means sticking to our principles instead of just doing what's easy or convenient. As Aristotle wisely pointed out, character may almost be called the most effective means of persuasion. When we live with integrity, we naturally inspire trust, respect, and admiration from those around us. Next up is resilience, the ability to bounce back from tough times without falling apart. Life can throw some serious curveballs our way, and it's not always fair. But a man of character doesn't let misfortune break him. Instead, he uses those challenges to grow stronger. Seneca once said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." Resilience isn't about dodging pain. It's about embracing it and using it to become better, wiser, and more compassionate. And then there's empathy. It might seem a bit unusual to think of empathy as a strength, but a man who can genuinely understand and share the feelings of others is someone who truly knows himself. Empathy helps us connect with others on a deeper level, allowing us to build relationships based on compassion and a sense of community. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, men exist for the sake of one another. Teach them or bear with them. So let's focus on these three virtues: integrity, resilience, and empathy, as we navigate through life and strive to build our character in a meaningful way. By committing to these virtues, we not only enhance our own character, but also positively influence those around us. In a world where distractions and superficial values often prevail, embodying integrity, resilience, and empathy can set us apart and create a ripple effect in our communities. To cultivate integrity, we must engage in self-reflection and hold ourselves accountable for our actions. This involves setting clear personal standards and being honest with ourselves and others. It's about making choices that align with our values, even when it's challenging. We can practice this by being transparent in our dealings, admitting our mistakes, and seeking to learn from them. By doing so, we become models of integrity for others, encouraging them to uphold similar standards. Resilience is a muscle that we can strengthen through practice. It requires us to develop a growth mindset, the belief that our abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. We can foster resilience by embracing challenges, viewing failures as opportunities for growth, and surrounding ourselves with supportive people who uplift us during tough times. Engaging in activities that push us out of our comfort zones, whether it's physical challenges, learning new skills, or tackling difficult conversations, can also build our resilience over time. Empathy is perhaps the most transformative of the three virtues. To cultivate empathy, we can start by actively listening to others, seeking to understand their perspectives without judgment. This involves putting ourselves in their shoes and being open to their experiences, even if they differ from our own. Volunteering in our communities, participating in diverse social groups, and engaging in meaningful conversations can deepen our understanding and appreciation of others' feelings and backgrounds. By practicing empathy, we not only enrich our own lives, but also contribute to a more compassionate society. In conclusion, building character in today's world is a deliberate process that requires ongoing effort and commitment. By nurturing integrity, resilience, and empathy, we create a solid foundation for our lives. These virtues empower us to face life's challenges with grace and strength, while also fostering connections that enrich our existence and the lives of those around us. As we strive to embody these qualities, we not only enhance our own character, but also inspire others to do the same, creating a legacy of strength and compassion for future generations. Climax Chakt Key Moment. Consider the story of a man who was standing at a big crossroads in his life, feeling weighed down by loss and setbacks. He had lost his job, his marriage was struggling, and his health wasn't great either. It would have been so easy for him to give in to despair, to wallow in bitterness and self-pity. But instead, he made a brave choice. He decided to face his challenges head-on and start rebuilding his life, relying on his character to guide him. It wasn't easy, and it took time, but little by little, he learned to manage those tough emotions. He discovered how to find a sense of peace even when things felt chaotic, to act with integrity when it was hard, and to show kindness to those who had hurt him. As he continued on this journey, he became a source of strength for everyone around him. His life changed, not because everything around him got better, but because he became a better version of himself. His character turned into his greatest asset, giving him a solid foundation in a world that was always shifting. And through his journey, he inspired others to join him on the path of self-improvement, character building, and finding inner peace. As he walked this new path, he began to encounter others at their own crossroads. There was a young woman named Clara who had just lost her mother to illness and was struggling to find her footing in a world that felt cold and unforgiving. When she met him, she was surprised by his warmth and the genuine interest he showed in her story. He listened without judgment, allowing her to express her grief and frustration. "How do you manage to stay so positive?" Clara asked one day, her voice trembling with uncertainty. He smiled softly, recalling his own dark days. It's not about being positive all the time. It's about acknowledging the pain and choosing to rise above it. I found that by focusing on what I can control, my reactions, my kindness, my efforts, I could start to rebuild. You can do the same. Inspired by his words, Clara began to take small steps. She started volunteering at a local shelter, channeling her grief into helping others. Through this act of service, she began to heal, learning that even in her sorrow, she could find purpose. As the months passed, the man continued to meet others on their own journeys. There was David, a middle-aged man who had recently been divorced and felt lost in the chaos of single life. He was skeptical at first, convinced that no one could understand his pain. But the man's unwavering support and practical advice slowly broke down David's defenses. They would meet weekly for coffee, where they would share their struggles and victories, fostering a bond that was both healing and empowering. Your character is your compass, the man would say. It can guide you through the storms of life. David began to embrace this philosophy, gradually finding his own strength and starting to rebuild his life one step at a time. Through these connections, the man realized that his own journey was not just about personal growth. It was about creating a ripple effect in his community. He organized small gatherings where people could come together to share their stories, to encourage one another, and to celebrate their progress. These meetings became a sanctuary for many, a place where vulnerability was met with compassion and where hope was rekindled. One evening, as the sun set and cast a warm glow over the gathering, Clara stood up to speak. Her voice was steady as she recounted her journey, her eyes shining with newfound confidence. I was lost, but through the kindness of one person, I found my way. We can all be that person for someone else. The crowd erupted in applause, and the man felt a deep sense of fulfillment. He had not only transformed his own life, but had also become a catalyst for change in the lives of others. Each person he had touched was now on their own path to rebuilding, armed with the belief that they could overcome their challenges. And so, the man continued to walk his path, not just as an individual, but as part of a community that thrived on the principles of character, kindness, and resilience. He understood that life would always present its challenges, but together, they could face anything that came their way, united by the strength they had cultivated within themselves and each other. In the end, it was not the circumstances that defined them, but the choices they made and the integrity they upheld. And as they stood at the crossroads of their lives, they chose to walk forward, together. Being a person of character doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It's really about making an effort every single day to be a little better than you were yesterday. It's about having the courage to face your own struggles, managing those tough emotions with some self-discipline, and living in a way that reflects your best self. Building character is a lifelong adventure, not just a goal to reach. As Epictetus wisely pointed out, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. This journey can be challenging, but it's the only journey that truly matters. In the end, what defines a person isn't their wealth, status, or accomplishments, it's their character. Being a person of character doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It's really about making an effort every single day to be a little better than you were yesterday. It's about having the courage to face your own struggles, managing those tough emotions with some self-discipline, and living in a way that reflects your best self. Building character is a lifelong adventure, not just a goal to reach. As Epictetus wisely pointed out, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. This journey can be challenging, but it's the only journey that truly matters. In the end, what defines a person isn't their wealth, status, or accomplishments. It's their character. Character is built in the quiet moments, in the choices we make when no one is watching. It's the small acts of kindness, the integrity we show when faced with temptation, and the resilience we demonstrate in the face of adversity. Every decision, no matter how insignificant it may seem at the time, contributes to the tapestry of our character. It is in these moments that we either reinforce our values or let them slip away. Moreover, character is not merely an individual endeavor. It is also about how we relate to others. It involves empathy, understanding, and compassion. When we take the time to listen to someone else's story, to see the world through their eyes, we cultivate a deeper sense of connection and humanity. This interconnectedness enriches our character and allows us to contribute positively to the lives of those around us. As we navigate through life, we will undoubtedly encounter setbacks and failures. It's important to remember that these moments do not define us. Instead, they provide invaluable lessons that shape our character. Embracing vulnerability, acknowledging our mistakes, and striving to learn from them are all part of the process of growth. The ability to rise after falling, to forgive ourselves and others, and to keep moving forward is a testament to our character. In a world that often prioritizes superficial metrics of success, it is vital to remain grounded in the values that truly matter. Character is about authenticity, about being true to oneself and to others. It's about standing firm in our beliefs while being open to growth and change. It's the courage to be vulnerable, the humility to learn, and the strength to act with integrity, even when it's difficult. Ultimately, the impact of a person of character extends far beyond their immediate circle. It inspires others to strive for their own personal growth and to act with kindness and integrity. When we embody these values, we create a ripple effect that can influence our communities and, in turn, the world. So let us embark on this journey of character building with intention and purpose. Let us strive to be better today than we were yesterday, to embrace our imperfections, and to support one another in our quest for excellence. For it is in this collective effort that we can create a legacy of character that will resonate for generations to come. So, I ask you now, what kind of man will you be? Will you choose the path of least resistance, swayed by your emotions and the expectations of others? Or will you rise above, mastering yourself and living as a man of character? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you are ready to take the next step on your journey of self-mastery, watch our next video on the principles of Stoicism and how they can transform your life. Remember, the only true power is the power we have over ourselves.